Well, hi, and welcome to another LRCC Soundbite. This week, what is God like? Well, how would you go about describing someone? Maybe you'd start with their physical appearance or some distinguishing feature, the length or lack of their hair, the way they dress, how tall they are. If I took that approach to describe God, I would have a little bit of a problem about that sort of personal description because I don't know. You know, when Jesus went back to heaven, he was 30-something years old, a Jewish man. More than that, I don't know what his features were like. I can be fairly sure that God doesn't look anything like the medieval images we have today that we see in paintings or whatever, you know, hair and a beard that rivals Santa Claus, but dressed in white rather than red. You know, even if I know what someone looks like, though, that doesn't tell me the whole picture. It doesn't tell me everything about them. I know nothing about what motivates them or what their values are or what their personality is like. But knowing something about them physically does help me to recognise them. Okay, let's try something else. I could describe someone by talking about the things they do or the places they go. I could tell you stories from their past, maybe things I've heard, or even better, things that I can tell firsthand because I've seen, because I was there. Now for God, I could tell you stories that have been recorded in the Bible, ancient stories about how God sent plagues on the land of Egypt when the Pharaoh wouldn't let God's chosen people go. Or how about the time God looked after some young men who were thrown into a furnace because they wanted to only worship God and not worship the false gods in the land. Or about how Jesus cared for the physical needs of thousands of people when he used a miracle to feed them from just a few loaves and a few small fish. On their own, these stories might seem confusing. I deliberately chose 3 very different stories as examples. One where God could appear to be cruel to the people of Egypt, a story that puts people in danger for God, and then one of love and care and provision for people. Very different stories, all the same God. You know, around every story there's context, and it's very easy to miss that sometimes. So I do think you need to take all of these kinds of things together. So that maybe tells us something, but we're still not there, are we? So let's try something else. What if I talk to you about who I perceive that person to be, how they think, how they react, what are they really like? To know. Some of the Bible does that as well. You know, there's love poetry between God and his church. Listen to this bit. Set me as a seal on your heart, as a seal upon your arm, for love is as strong as death, passion fierce as the grave. Its flashes are flashes of fire, a raging flame. Many waters cannot quench love, neither can floods drown it. Yeah, that's just one little bit in a much, much longer piece. There's also pieces written from people to God, songs and poems and lines of worship. There's descriptions from Jesus' life about what he was thinking, about how he treated people. But actually, best of all, this is the bit where myself and other Christians can start to talk about our own experiences of God, about how God has guided and directed, blessed us. It's my unique story, and every Christian has their own unique story of God in all its beauty and in all its amazement. So, you know, maybe the best way to find out what God is like is actually to take all of these, to read some of the stories from the Bible. And, I should say, if you live near us and don't have a copy of the Bible, do let us know. You can catch on our website. Let us know. We've got plenty of free spares to give away, including Bibles for children, Bibles for young people, and Bibles for adults. Anyway, we read stories from the Bible. We can talk to Christians about their experiences. And to see God, well, maybe we should just look at this world around us, all of nature. Remember, every artist puts something of themselves into that which they create. Maybe we can see something of God and see what God is like in everything we see around us. So I suppose today I've not really answered the question what God is like, have I? In reality, 5 minutes isn't enough to even get started on that. But I'd love to talk more to you about it if you'd like to hear my story. Maybe pop round one Sunday afternoon, 44 Lindbergh Road. Anyway, God bless you this week, and I'll see you next time.